Hello friends, today I am going to discuss about class 8 ICSE course chapter number 6 of history, that is British policies and impacts. So today we are going to discuss about some more exercises which were left. So fill in the blanks. First, the British domination in India brought many changes in dash 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 life of India. So the answer is the British domination of India brought many changes in economic, political and social life of India. Also, the downfall of the development in the economic, political and social development of India was also undergoing under some bad conditions, as the Indians were not treated very well. Also, properties of Britishers, they also made the policies which were not satisfied for both Indians and the Britishers. They were for the benefits of the Britisher only, as they were draining away all the wealth of India, also taking fees, and if any due was there in the fees of, they take all their tax as a land revenue tax for every month. Second, the British villages were dash communities before the coming of Britishers. The Indian villages were self-sufficient communities before the coming of Britishers. This was said by the Dadabhai Naroji, who wrote the books for the poverty and un-British rule in India. He also said in this book that if the Britisher will be not come in India before and after, then this will be a great benefit for the Indians only and the loss for Britishers, because they will not get any money, because they were easily getting all the money in taxes and wealth from the India only, as the people were not confiscated before about the money that they were draining. The tax which were implemented, they were only thinking about the food and money, that how they would live. So the villages of India was very self-sufficient, that they can also make their growth of nation, because they were rich in handicrafts, many food items, cloths, the fertile land, farmers crop of many different crops also were there in different seasons of India. So they, if there was no policies implemented by Britisher that no item will go out of the country for the selling or any profit, if there will be any profit, 50% will be of the Britishers and 10% of the farmers who were growing this. So the hard work of the farmers were also failed. So that's why this is said that we are very self-sufficient before. Then third one, that is the British changed revenue in dash instead of kind. This was the British changed revenue in cash instead of kind. So instead of kindness, showing the kindness, they were showing very cruel behavior against the Indians, and also fighting with Indians, as they were fulfilled with all their materials which were needed for the fighting, but we were not. And also even charged revenue in cash, as in the British there was no same cash or domination cash was made, so that the picture may be implemented, and then the rupees were also implemented, and instead of kindness they were showing the cruelty towards the charge of the revenue in cash. Then fourth one, the three kinds of land settlement made in India were dash, dash and dash. So the three settlements which were made in British rule were Rotiwari system, Mehelwari system and the permanent system. In the Rotiwari system, this was for the farmers, that if the land revenue was very due to give to the Britisher, they will take the land revenue in every month for the whole year. Second is permanent settlement. The settlement in which farmers were forced to grow the indigo, and the policies were implemented very hardly towards the Indians behaving a cruel to the Indians so that they may be scared of it and also grow the indigo, which make the fertile land to a barren land. Then it is Meherwari system. This was for the monarchy whenever India was ending to the rule of monarchy, moving towards the presidency. Fifth one, new class of landholders where dash came to existence after introduction of permanent settlement. So in the permanent settlement, it was forced for growing any due fees, and also they will take all the money and forced for growing the indigo. Cruelty behavior was there for the Indians. No respect, kindness were also there. So they were that Britisher would not be for every time, so they made the zamindars of every farmer so that they can also take the due fees. Also cruel behavior towards the Indians and also forced by the zamindars to the Indian farmers so that they may grow the indigo. Match the column A and B. Column A, first one, cotton, jute, poppy, sugarcane. The answer is settlement were directly with cultivators. So these were some of the crops, cotton, jute, poppy and sugarcane, which were in high amount present in India, and also many handicrafts was made of cotton, jute and sugarcane, as the leftover raw materials was transformed from some of the handicrafts from that, and then it was said it was also policy implemented by Britisher that the 50% if the profit is there, they will be from the side of Britisher, more profit is there, and 10% or the 5% which is left over will be given to the farmers or the handicrafters who made the handicrafts. So this settlement was directly with the cultivators. Then second one, Roti-Bari system. The answer is cash crops grown by the farmers. So the Roti-Bari system was one of the cruel factor of the Britishers, where they were forced to pay the land due fees, and also they were also forced to grow the cash crops as they were having much profit than other crops. Also implemented the rule of growing the indigo. Third one, all major raw materials producing areas. The answer is linked with the ports to make the trade easier. So the producing things or the handicrafts, the crops which are grown, they were sold in the ports also from the different parts of India, as it was easy to go from one place to other from the ports also. Meherwari system. So the answer is collective responsibility of farmers to pay the land revenue. So this Meherwari system was one of the system in which the responsibilities were given to the zamindar, so they may also collect the due fees which were there. Then zamindars, a new middle class. So the zamindars, after the first class, which was the Britisher, they nobles and kings, they were the zamindars who also gained the profit with the Britishers only, signed some treaty, agreed the policies of Britishers and follow all the rules of Britishers only. Then state whether the following statements are true or false. First one, the important centers of Indian goods were Dhaka, Benares, Lucknow, Multan and Ahmedabad, etc. So these were some of the places where Indian goods was transformed in high cost so that they may get the profit, but then also no profit was there to the Indians, as some of the part 50% or 100%, how much the profit is there, much profit will be transformed to the Britisher only, as they were saying that you grow it and you also sell it, but we are the main reasons who are ruling in your country, so you should give it. So that's why Indian farmers or cultivators, handicrafters, potters were giving all the tax to the Britishers. Then Lord Cornwallis introduced the permanent settlement in India. This is true, as in the permanent settlement, Lord Cornwallis set the policies that you should obey all the rules, pay the tax if the zamindars were left to pay the due fees, they will be restricted, and also the land will be confiscated under the British rule, and then the zamindars would pay all the tax throughout the month, in every month or throughout the year. Then the English took great interest in Indian culture and promoted it. This is false, because if Britisher promoted our Indian culture and also worked for it, so now our growth of India will be much faster. Technology would be there in 18th century only. But then also for India, when the Britishers were not there, very late century, 18th century, our India was developed. Somehow it was developing. Some Britishers were there which make the policies, and some machines which were growth in industrialization revolution, in which the industries and the revolution takes place, so that some workers were left over, machines came. So that was also one of the major development which were led by the Britisher. But if the Britisher did the 10% work good for us, so may we forget the 100% of the bad works they did for us, or the cruel behavior which they led for us. So this was false. Then fourth one, the British took interest in education of Indians only because they needed low paid English speaking clerks. So this is true that if the Indians would get the time to sign the treaty, also obey the rules, so they may first study the English or the Western education, so that main leaders they were leading the India may also sign the treaty. Also they want the less amount paid to the clerk, so that no much amount of money may be spent on that work, and also they need the English speaking clerk, so that's why they took interest in education, giving Western education, opening universities for Indians. Then the company promoted technical education. This is false. If the technical education was there in India only, so now our India would get many developments. Then picture study. First one, identify the personality. So the answer is Dadabhai Naroje. What do you understand by drain of wealth? So drain of wealth is a policy implemented by the Dadabhai Naroje, in which he said that if you would not go from our country, how our country will develop. If you would not come in India, our Indian villages were self-sufficient, so that they may promote our nation to a well-developed country and a well-development growth country. Our Indian developed in 18th century, very late century. All the countries were developed much faster in different centuries, but we were so late, and that's why we have been not formed such influence, because we are not affected by the policies. We are only doing yes towards that policy. We were scared, and when the freedom fighters came, then we have a courage to make our India an independent country. Then mention the book written by him. The answer is Poverty and Un-British Rule, in which he said to the Britishers that if you will not go from our country, then if we would not continue our country only, we would have much faster growth in our India. Nationalism is our main feature of India, but you are the one who has discourages our Indian culture, making as the Western cultures. So I hope you understood the exercises under this chapter. In next video, we will proceed further with another exercise and question answers. Thank you.